I have finally finished the latest volume of the Index light novels, and I can't wait to talk everything about it in this video, as this volume is definitely my favourite in Genesis Testament so far. One thing I was definitely surprised about was the length of this volume, as this volume felt really short in comparison to the other recent volumes, but this isn't even a criticism, as I feel like the pacing of this volume was really well handled. Pacing in Index definitely has its ups and downs depending on the volume, so massive credit to Kamachi. And this is a Genesis Testament video, meaning this video will cover events that are miles ahead of where Index Season 3 left off. So this video will have huge spoilers, as I'll be talking about the events of this volume in detail. You have been warned. GT6 starts off with Toma talking to his senpai, Kamakawa, who is willing to help Toma get a part-time job in Shibuya, as she has business to attend to there, and Toma literally has no money, and he's unable to get any more because the banks are closed for the new year, as yes, this volume does take place on New Year's Eve. Also, we get a hint about what kind of business Seria had to attend to, which I will discuss later. Meanwhile, something crazy happens. Toma gets killed in the prologue instantly by a mysterious woman revealed to be Aradia, the goddess of witches. This gave me vibes from New Testament 22, where Toma nearly died in the prologue, but nope, he straight up died. And that concludes the story of A Certain Magical Index. Thanks for reading, everyone. Just kidding, Toma wakes up with new clothes, wondering if what just happened was a dream or not. He then leaves Academy City with Index, Othinus, and Seria. Okay, so chapter 1 is purely slice of life apart from the bits at the end, but Kamachi really made this part of the novel engaging, and it was really fun to read. Kamachi also took time to flesh out the location in this volume, Shibuya, since this is technically outside Academy City, but still within Tokyo. I believe he did a good job bringing Shibuya to life and describing it to the audience, even if you were unfamiliar with what Shibuya is like, so I really appreciated this aspect of the chapter. Toma sadly did not get a part-time job as a maid as I hoped, but we still got something satisfying as he became a Deliveroo cyclist, delivering food to different people in the city. These include some unusual individuals such as a call girl and a cosplay girl who is basically a streamer or some kind of VTuber who does feature again later in the volume. And this cosplay girl isn't really presented in a positive light. She comes across as bratty, only caring about how many views she gets, and feels completely detached from the real world, as she doesn't even want to be seen with Toma if she was streaming, as her loyal simps online who donate to her might get the wrong idea. I felt more interested in this character than perhaps most people reading this volume as a YouTuber, as it honestly made me think more about my own virtual endeavors, as this girl is an example of the negative side of being a streamer or content creator. Anyway, Toma finishes his work and thinks it will be a great idea to enter Index into a food eating contest to help them win free food, as Index is known for her ravenous appetite. But Toma suddenly feels a chill as he is attacked yet again, which does so much damage that his spine is visible. The next chapter was purely action based, as the Bologna succubus rescues Toma, who is now alive, as they fly away from Aradia to escape her and plan their next move. But how the hell is Toma alive, and why is the succubus helping him? Also, I'm just going to call the Bologna succubus BS from now on, because her name is way too long for me to say. Well, BS reveals she and Aradia are both from the Bridge Builders Cabal, and are known as transcendents, special magic users that each rival the magic side in terms of power. And another transcendent called Good Old Mary has revived Toma twice using her magic. But this isn't a get out of jail free card. In order for this spell to work, the victim must have enough blood in their body to be resuscitated. So if they lose too much blood from dying, they can't be brought back to life. Toma has already been revived twice with this spell and can't come back a third time because he won't have enough blood left in his body to stay alive. However, nothing in Index is quite what it seems on the surface, so we will have to go back to this later. I'm really glad we got to learn more about the bridge builders cabal in this volume, and as implied by GT5, they are pretty much hanging around Alice as they want to shape the world in their own way by using her, but are too scared to basically make a move on her to do it, as Alice is unpredictable and is the strongest out of all the transcendents. This kinda reminds me of Gremlin from New Testament, where all the members were wanting to gain something from Ophinus. Well, apart from 4 who just wanted to dick around. But the situation is different here, as Ophinus was a competent leader, while Alice just acts like a kid and treats those around her like toys. And as I predicted, BS and good old Mary want to protect Toma because Alice is obsessed with him now, and they don't want to risk him dying, which may trigger Alice into doing something terrible. They would rather wait and see how the situation plays out. Meanwhile, Aradia is basically the opposite. She wants to kill Toma, thinking it will cause Alice to move on, and it will foil the plan of whatever Anna Sprengel is trying to do. So neither side is necessarily in the wrong here. Okay, Aradia is perhaps taking things too far to achieve her goal, but Aradia basically wants to create an environment where witches are no longer persecuted, as she is the goddess of all witches. Basically, she wants to end the centuries of persecution witches have suffered over the years, which they still face in the modern day. And while BS is seemingly one of the good guys, she says she's willing to kill Toma or let him die if that would benefit the Cabal, which makes both characters layered and morally grey with their beliefs and intentions. The dynamic between Aradia and BS is one of the highlights of the volume, as BS is based on the legend of the Bologna succubus, where an Italian man was falsely accused for being the owner of a brothel of succubus. Succubuses? I don't know the plural. Succubi? You tell me. And was actually executed for it. Therefore, BS despises people who are falsely accused for things they never did. Which is why BS feels so strongly about siding with Toma, as she feels that he is being treated as responsible for Alice's change by Aradia, when that's probably not true. This moral stance of BS also gives her a unique relationship with Aradia, as traditionally, throughout history, many women were falsely accused of being witches and were executed. Therefore, BS feels Aradia should understand this more than anyone, and yet Aradia is pretty much actively witch-hunting Toma for something that's not even his fault. Ironic. But at the same time, Aradia feels justified in her actions in order to ensure the survival of the people she stands for. This dynamic is one of the most interesting and nuanced clashes of morals we have had in Index for a long time, so I really appreciate this aspect of the volume, and these themes are further developed in the later chapters. The other highlight of this chapter is the powers of both Aradia and BS. Aradia's main magic is the Wiccan triple reload, which follows the rule of 3. Good actions shall reward the user 3 times the amount, but immoral actions will punish the user 3 times the amount. With Aradia, her magic will be boosted 3 times, or she will receive damage to herself 3 times the amount of the bad deed. And yes, her magic can stack multiple boosts. While this magic seems it has a glaring flaw, Aradia rarely is affected by the negative side of it, as her actions boil down to being judged by the perception of collective groups. For example, if harming Toma is perceived to be a good thing by majority rule, then she will get the boost and not the damage. But often you do see Aradia doing simple good deeds, like picking up a sweet wrapper in the wind, or helping random people in Shibuya to benefit her own power. And later it is revealed Aradia can influence people around her, making her have a collective which only benefits her. Meanwhile, BS has the power to turn pleasure of those around her into pain, a very self-explanatory ability. I feel like these abilities were not only very creative, but also had weaknesses that could be exploited in the fights to make the battles more strategic and engaging. Aradia's weakness should be obvious, but she also has another one revealed later, and if you don't feel happiness or pleasure, you can be immune to BS's ability. Anyway, Aradia retreats after being targeted by BS's magic, but BS is left heavily injured by Aradia, so Toma and BS decide to leave the Miyashita Arc shopping center to hide elsewhere and meet up with the others. Meanwhile, Alistair and Noken are on the move in the same location, as there is a hidden lab in the Arc where a historic group called the Wandering Treasure Keepers, known for storing and preserving bodies of important people, are based. Alistair reveals that he thought about storing the previous owner of Imagine Breaker in this way, and he was nearly turned into part of the collection back in 1947 when he nearly died. Also, you may be thinking, this is so convenient that this place is in the same area Toma was. Well, Alistair notes this too, and it's later implied that Seria's business in Shibuya was with this very lab, which makes total sense why the lab happened to be here. Although what exact business Seria had with these wandering treasure keepers is unknown. Next, Chapter 3 took a step back as we were treated to more fan service, as it was also in Chapter 2, but I didn't address it, and BS flirting with Toma. But you see, Kamachi is such a genius that there is a legit plot reason for her acting like this at the end of the chapter. Anyway, they are reunited with the gang at a capsule hotel, but Aradia is doing some kind of kinky witch ritual outside and turns 100,000 of the women of Shibuya into an army of witches, including the streamer girl from Chapter 1. Basically, she joins the witches like it's some kind of trend she wants to be a part of, without thinking about the consequences. She basically becomes consumed with the latest trend, and now is part of what is Aradia's cult, with no autonomy of her own. I think Kamachi is trying to do a commentary about the dangers of collective rule, that people are willing to put aside their own moral compass if it means they can fit in with whatever society is doing. As a counter to this, BS uses her own magic to influence the collective of those who have not joined Aradia's ranks by triggering their pain impulse of annoyance to rise up and riot against the witches, a modern-day witch hunt. While witch hunts were often seen as a thing of the past, cancel culture could be the modern equivalent, and Kamachi links the two together. People will naturally gather together to want to fit in with the society they are presented with, or the latest trend, or they will naturally target outcasts who do not fit in with society. While these two groups may appear different, they are truly just one and the same, just fighting for different things. The collectivist mindset, which leads to manipulation of the masses for their own leaders' benefit, or the destruction of outcasts in society, it's a slippery slope that eventually erodes independent thought and morals via mass hysteria. Like an infectious disease, it spreads everywhere. Toma represents the antithesis of collectivism. He is given a choice: run away and let BS die fighting to Aradia, and potentially let the witch hunters kill the witches, or try to stop this from happening. He is the one who thinks independently to make his own decision and stand up for his own beliefs. He discovers the reason why BS was injured so easily, as she was the one who had given her blood to Toma in order to save him. So yes, Toma has demon blood confirmed, waiting for his demon form right now, but Toma was wrong about BS. She wasn't intending to use the witch hunters to kill the witches. She just wanted to sacrifice herself so Toma could escape. And she was flirting with him to try and distract Toma from what was really going on. Good old Mary also appears and takes BS away with Seria to try and save her. Now, the final fight of the volume, Toma and Ophanus versus Aradia. You're probably thinking, how the hell can Toma win if he's already been killed twice by her? Well, that was when she basically sneak attacked him. This time, Toma knows exactly where she is. What I love about this fight is how proactive Ophanus is. She really worked well with Toma, as she guided him about Aradia's magic during the fight, and also helped Toma evade Aradia's attacks. Toma managed to figure out Aradia was using ointment on her feet to influence her shadow, which is how she is able to use the triple reload. After flooding the ground and negating her shadow, preventing Aradia's flight, she attempts to release her triple seal in her ultimate final form as she is about to go all out to defeat Toma. But since Toma specializes in negating the supernatural, he is able to go lol nope and KO her before she can activate it. I just love the fact that she tried to just go like full Dragon Ball Z style on him and Toma just goes, nah, you're not doing that. I found it quite funny and a nice end to the fight. In the epilogue, Toma is reunited with the gang and is informed BS has been saved. Meanwhile, Anna Sprengel is watching them from the crowd in Shibuya and is about to kill Aradia, as apparently Aradia knows all of the Cabal's secrets. But before she can, Anna Kingsford appears beside her, which causes Sprengel to freak the hell out. Oh yeah, and Kingsford actually talks partially in emojis, of all things. I kid you not, emojis. So trying to understand her at times is a bit tricky, but I got the general gist. Either Alistair inputted this into her cause he's an absolute meme lord, or emojis were somehow a thing hundreds of years ago. Kingsford separates Sprengel from the world itself and basically turns her into a film can, as Kingsford is apparently really overpowered and is stated to be unmatched in terms of magical power, stronger than Sprengel, Mathers and Alistair with magic, which is kinda mind-blowing. Alistair basically turned Kingsford into a cyborg and has control over her, but Kingsford is ready to go against Alistair if his behaviour turns beyond what is necessary, but for now she is ready to follow Alistair's lead. Alistair then tries to interrogate Sprengel about the transcendents and notes that Alice may have a link to himself, as this entire volume noted that the transcendents all seem to have fictional origins and yet somehow exist, something I noted in the previous videos I made about Genesis Testament. Both Index and Ophanus didn't realise Aradia was a real person and only knew the book where she is the namesake of the title. So there is definitely a mystery involving the Bridge Builders Cabal, and solving that mystery about their origin is what I believe Alistair's next move is. Now, I will finally summarise my thoughts on the volume as a whole. I loved the pacing, themes, and fights in this volume, and I was pleasantly surprised by all the twists. They definitely surprised me and kept me excited to read more. This volume has everything what I love in an Index volume. Morally grey characters, exploring and contrasting moralities and themes, and crazy, insane magic. And of course, Alistair getting his sweet revenge on Anna Sprengel. I bet Iwaz is shitting himself right now. Some people may get annoyed that Anna was built up, only to be defeated pretty easily, as we still don't know what exactly she was planning towards Alice and the Cabal, but I believe that should become more clear once we uncover the mystery behind both Sprengel and Alice. Anna clearly wants to have control over every aspect of the world by inflicting chaos, whether it was RNC Occultics or Operation Handcuffs. So as long as we do find out the method or reason behind the madness, I'll be satisfied. Otherwise, I thought it was a great twist to have Anna be taken out by the emoji Anna, and who the hell can stop Alistair now with Kingsford supporting him? I do think Alistair may want to take Kingsford's body for himself at some point, but I could be wrong. I just really want to see what Alistair is going to do next, and see if we are going to see him take on the other Transcendents. That's going to be hype. My only criticism of this volume that I can think of is that good old Mary is supposed to be as strong as the entire magic side and on BS's side, and yet she's missing for most of the volume. Wouldn't BS have more of a chance if they were both fighting Aradia? So I'm just confused about Mary's motives in all this, as it doesn't really make much sense to me, so I hope it gets answered. I wasn't really able to talk about everything in this volume, but I will be doing another Toaru podcast where I can talk about the stuff I missed, so stay tuned. I will give this volume a 9 out of 10. Let me know what you thought about this volume. Did you really enjoy it as much as I did? Or do you prefer some other Genesis Testament volume, like Genesis Testament 3 for example? And what are your predictions for the future of Genesis Testament? What do you think Alistair's going to do? Can anyone truly stop him now? And where do you think Aradia is going to end up? Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe for more information about the Index light novels on the channel, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.